Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. And it's a muddy mess this Sunday afternoon. Well, after lunch, it was raining this morning, so I got delayed getting down here, but my brackets fell off the table, so it must have got pretty rough. Let's see, it's knocked down some more dead limbs right here. The thing that wasn't nothing parked there. This tree's full of dead snags. There's a big one right over my truck right here. Another big one hanging down right here over the building. It's probably going to fall. It's got one live limb still on it, so maybe it'll hold. And I went out to the other shop and found a bunch of parts. Found this thing. I believe it's the same as what I took off here. It's just in a little better shape. And I think this one is over in this mess somewhere. I ain't sure exactly where it's at. That's got to go on before the starter. I found a good looking starter motor, but I think the wheels need replacing in it. So I'm thinking about taking the drive wheel off the other starter and using this starter. It's a good starter. It just I had it on the dually and I didn't have it adjusted right, and it wore the wheel out trying to start it. Found a good speaker bracket that possibly don't really need painting, just needs a good touch up. Got one of these brackets that come off this truck is broke right here. Not sure about these speakers, they're probably bad. Really not sure about the ones that I took out of the parts truck. It's hard to find these speakers. This is a Panasonic. I would imagine this is an aftermarket, but because it don't look quite like the factory ones do. So who knows if it's good or not. It definitely don't have the factory connection, so it is aftermarket. The ones that I got is factory speakers, but who knows if they're correct or will work or not. Then I found this old parts dash that I need to get some parts out of. I'm going to strip it out. I'm going to save the speedometer, these two gauges. This one's broke, unfortunately. But what I'm really after is these little metal things here. I'm thinking they'll just pop out. They look like just little clips. And I'm going to put them in this one, where these are rusty. Get out of the shade here, shadow here. Got some rusty ones here. There's about 5 of them there that need to be replaced. Found a bunch more just little parts that I brought. Found the big air cleaner housing that came off the dually. I don't have the rod that goes through it though. That's going to be the issue with it. I may end up having to just buy an aftermarket air cleaner housing for this truck. I really like to keep it looking halfway original. Well, I've got the duct work and all that runs over to the core support, if it's long enough. The radiator that I had for it is not going to work because it doesn't have a heater hose return pipe to it, whereas the one that come off did. So to use the radiator that I've got that I think's good, I would have to put a nipple right here where this plug is, and one hose would go from here to the core, and then one from the core back into the water jacket right here. These other speakers, these are the factory speakers. You can see they're just plain Jane. Got the factory wiring hook up, but they need repainting. The brackets need repainting on them, and I believe it was this one that's broke. So this looks like it goes to the left hand side. It could be going to the right hand side though. I don't know which one I've got here. Looks like I got it. The one going to the, I don't know. I think this one goes to the right hand, of course. So anyway, today I'm gonna try to get the handle and the latch installed on this door. I'll show you how I did that on the other door. And we'll hopefully get the stepson down here after a while to help me hang these doors, put this back glass in. So stay tuned for that, and then I'll show you just a second. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put the gasket material on the door, and then we'll install the handle and the rod, and then I'll set it up on the stand over here and finish putting the latch on there. These are just going to attach here. They just peel and stick. And I suppose you could put them on the door handle itself instead of the door, but I've already mounted the one on the other door, and it would have to be the one that I would use to go to the door handle if I decided to do that. So in that case, we're just going to mount them on the door. And if I ain't mistaken, this little one right here, it will come loose. I believe it mounts like this. And we'll go get our door handle. Need to go wire wheel this rod right quick, then we'll install this door handle. So this rod, I'll show you what it looks like. It's got like a nail head on it, but it's kind of beveled, and on the end it's got a little hook and a groove. And you think that groove is for a clip, but it ain't. It clips in, it goes through a clip, and that clip holds it right there. So there's nothing other than the clip holding it in place on the latch. I'm going to wire wheel that clean, and we'll install this handle. Alright, so here's the clean rod. We'll wire wheel it, takes it right off. And what we're going to do is up here, where we can see this, we're going to stick this rod through here. And it's got to go by this clip. So it's going to hold that, going to hold tension on this rod just from this little clip. And it don't really matter which way you put it in, it can be turned either way. So we're going to install it one way, and then we'll turn it the way we need to. Alright, so to install it, it's got to go down. So we're going to stick it in. You got to hold the button in to get this thing to go in the hole, just like that. Then we'll hold, it's held on in place with 2 bolts. So one of the bolts I've painted blue, the other one's unpainted. This one's going to be inside the door, this one's going to be outside the door. So we're just going to try to get them started. And it is a little bit sometimes. They don't want to start real good. A little bit tricky, especially with it on its side like this. You don't want to scratch nothing. That bolt just fell out. Now, to get to this one, we got to move it a little bit. Let's see if we can get this one started. Find the hole. There's the hole. Got that started, now I gotta get this one started. Get that angle just right, the thing will go right in. It's just finding it the right angle. I don't know if I got it or not. And we'll use a, I think it's a 7/16 bolt. So we'll take a little nut driver here. I don't want to cross thread this thing. It sure feel like it wants to. Make sure it's right or not. See if we tighten it up. I'm gonna have to go back and check that one when I get it hung up. And what I did with the other one, I hung it from the top of the door. And I have to be real careful getting this thing off the stand, because if you try to stand up like it is now, it's just gonna slide off. So what we gotta do is slide it back. We'll slide it down this way and stand it up. We'll pick it up. I'm gonna hook the inside of the door like that. Just let it hang. So the latch is gonna go in like this. And on the inside, you got a screw here and two at the bottom right here. So they match up with these three holes. So the trick is, and this clip right here is where the rod's gonna stick in. Now the trick is, we gotta get that rod out of the way. I'm gonna reach in here and just pull it up. That little clip's gonna hold it in the handle. Just wanna get it out of my way. So I do want to put some more penetrating oil on these bolts, because I didn't trace the threads of this latch. And this blue I painted with that paint I bought at the auto parts store. Once it's mounted, you really can't tell that it's not the same color, especially on both heads. Now on the, you can a little bit on the hinge bolts, because they got big heads on them, but these little ones really can't. We'll try to get these, each one of them. That oil really helps screwing these in. This one I'll take back out and put a little oil on it. So I'm just using PB Blaster, but any kind of light oil, 3-in-1 oil or machine oil or anything would help. Tight as I can get it. So that's all there is to install on the latch. Now to install that handle is a little bit tricky, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you, because it's hard enough for me to see. Alright, so here's a rod, and and this clip right here is what we got to go into. It has got to go forward, which is the way it's set up to stick right in that clip. So we're just going to move it down, turn around, and stick it in that hole, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get it in. Alright, so about 5 minutes later, I finally talked that thing into getting in that hole, and then I took my pliers and I double checked, make sure it was in there good. So now when we open the handle, and I will put some spray grease on these before I button it up. I got to find my spray grease, but I'm going to spray them down really good. So that's done. Now what I like is putting our lock mechanism in. I've changed out the locks, putting new ones in, but the new ones don't come with all the stuff you need. So we're going to have to find the old lock and take the mechanism and clip off the old lock and put on the new lock. So here's the old lock, and it's held on. This piece here we're going to need is held on with a clip. Alright, this clip's got a little locking piece. See if I can zoom y'all in down here. So this little locking, there's a little lock in this thing. It's this piece right here. It's got locks into a hole, so we got to pry up on the end here somehow or another. Alright, so found a couple smaller screwdrivers, might help us out. It's that little lock. We got to slide this whole mechanism back like that, and that came off a whole lot easier than that other one did. And then it'll just pop off. There's the clip. There's the lock mechanism. It'll go back on same way it came off. We're going to install it. We're going to push this around. You see this thing's, there ain't but one way it'll go. It's got to fit in these grooves, and it slides forward and turns, and then we've got to match this little lock back in the hole there. So the lock, that little piece right here is what keeps it from coming loose. I know I'm gonna hurt my finger. So I mashed it back in, and now when that back's flat, this won't come out. It's in the grooves. It's ready to install. Alright, so the next step is going to be to insert this into that hole, and it's got to go in that slotted piece right here. Alright, so we're going to set it in the hole. Very careful, got to kind of twist and turn. And try to keep the key in the upright position. I'm going to turn the key a little bit. Yep. I'm going to turn the key just a little bit. Damn it, can't do both. Can't do it with one hand. Big grooves go at the top. bottom. And the little grooves on the side. I guess I should have showed you that. Alright, so on these keys, you got a big groove, a small groove, a bigger one, and a small one. The big one goes to the top, just like that. So we see it's in the groove. My hand's probably going to be all up anyway. Try my best here. Push it in as much as you can. And that locks into the big grooves that don't lock into the small ones. So you see that it's turned sideways. That's the way it has to lock on the big ones. It won't lock on the little ones. So that's all there is to installing the handle, the latch, and the lock. And the rest of it's going to have to wait till we get it on the truck, because it needs to be a little more supported than what it is now. I don't want to put too much weight in it and it hanging on these hooks. So I'm going to hang it, I'm going to pick it up and hang it like I got the other door until we're ready to put it on the truck. So we're just going to grab it from the edge and lift it up. All the way up with it. Alright guys, well we got the doors set in temporarily. I just got a screw, a bolt in each hinge. Basically it's holding 3 points contact. We also got this daggum back window in. Y'all can see through the plastic, but it was quite a pain. I didn't get around to putting the trim strip in, but we'll get that next time. We had a lot of trouble with that gasket. That rope didn't really work. Thankfully I had the tools that I needed to do it with, the hook tool and the chisel tool, and I think I left both of them inside, but it don't matter. We'll get to them. Let's go and free up my paint booth, and I'll get this mess cleaned up, get it back together, and all this stuff packed away, and we'll be ready to start painting. I got these hinges and all in here already. So we're gonna get back to painting this week and start on the fenders probably next weekend. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll have the inner fenders ready, and all we need is the fenders and the hood. So until then guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's probably going to be a long one, but sometimes it goes that way. So please rate, comment, subscribe if you're hunting.